I received lots of messages from most of you to ask how you can join agencies and, of course, the highest paying agencies here in Australia. So, as your favorite girl, all things nursing and wise, I'm going to be telling you the highest paying agencies here in Australia. So, keep watching. If you're just seeing my face for the first time, my name is Deo Goodness. I am a registered nurse currently practicing here in Australia, and this is my travel nursing era. Okay. I have been in Australia for quite a while now, and yeah, I've worked with amazing agencies. Like when I say agencies that pay one of the highest for nurses here in Australia, and we're going to be talking about it. First thing first, I know why we're here for the highest paying agencies. You need to be eligible for these agencies to handpick you, okay? So let's talk about the requirement. You must be a registered nurse here in Australia, okay? That's the basic first thing. You must have your APRA registration. The next thing is you need to have years of experience. Now, not like years, but anything from 6 months to 1 year, it's acceptable. But I'm going to try and tell you the truth. Do not start travel nursing if you are not confident, okay? Because let me tell you, you're not going to get more than 1 day of orientation. Like when you get to your contract, that 1 day, they're even being generous because sometimes you hit the ground running immediately. Just few hours of orientation, the next few hours you're back on the floor. You need to be confident, have your experience. I didn't start travel nursing until after about 1 year experience. So I would say please make sure you have that experience before you even start, because you don't want to go to a facility or a hospital and then you don't know what you're doing. People are basically needing to teach you every single thing. They don't really have the staff for that. They actually got you there because they don't have the staff. So who's going to teach who? Okay, so please make sure you not just have the experience but have the confidence to hit the ground running. Okay, now you have your license, you have your experience. The next thing is you have to get all your certification. Now the minimum, you need to have a BLS. Okay, if you work in ICU, if you work in ED, if you work in anesthetics and recovery, majority of them will need to have ACLS, but the must have certification is BLS, which, to be honest, every nurse in Australia do have BLS because it's basically one of the first things you do when you start orientation in a new place of work. So because it expires after 1 year, 2 years, so make sure you have a valid one. Then the next thing is to have all your vaccination. Look, what I did for myself was I had to pack all my credentials into a file, because let me tell you, applying for agencies here in Australia, it's not easy. There are so many agencies that request so many things. So what I've done to make my life easy is make a folder of my travel nursing essentials, and I put all my documents inside that folder. So whenever I am applying for a new agency, everything is in one place. Okay, so you need all your vaccinations. Every state in Australia has different vaccination needs. There's some states that will need you to have hepatitis B, some will not. It depends on the area you're working for, if you're going to be exposed to bloodborne infections and all that. So it all depends. Okay, so make sure all your vaccinations are up to date. They are very strict with vaccination in this country. I don't know why, but yes, they are. And of course, your reference. Most of them will need you to have 2 clinical reference. So make sure you already have someone that is going to give you a reference for your agency. And yeah, those are the basic things you need. Of course, you need to have your residency permit here in Australia, because these agencies will not sponsor any visa. For travel nursing, you won't be getting any sponsorship, so you need to have residency stay, or you don't need any visa sponsorship. So please bear that in mind. Okay, you've got all your requirements. Now you're ready to hit the ground running. The agencies would pay you according to your years of experience, most of them. Okay, for those of us that are coming from the UK, it's a bit different. In the UK, from what I experienced all my years there, is that if you're working as agency, you're working as agency. Regardless of your years of experience, agency will pay you agency rates. Okay, it's like standard rates for every agency. However, here in Australia, it's not the same. They won't pay an agency nurse in a year 1 the same with what they'll pay an agency nurse in a year 8. Okay, so the pay varies from years of experience and also specialty. I've realized that theater specialty rates are higher than if you're working in medical wards. It has its own perks. Also, I've realized that ED nurses get more as well. I've realized that ICU get more. So there are specialties that even if you're doing as an agency, you get paid more than someone just working in the medical floors. Okay, I think that's the same thing in the UK. I remember in the UK, anesthetic nurses got paid like so much more than medical ward nurses. So yeah, if you're doing agencies, specialty rates come into play, but it's not the case if you're doing regular jobs. Okay, I'll start by saying this video is not sponsored by any of the agencies I'm going to be mentioning. I'm also not affiliated to any of these agencies I'm mentioning. Make sure you do your research and yeah, good luck, okay? But I think I found them to be one of the best and highest paid, okay? Again, I would like to say that these agencies are not going to be able to place you in every part of Australia. This is because as big as Australia is, every state has their preferred agencies. So if you're moving from one state to the other, you might not get shifts in that state with your agency that you already been working with in the previous state. I don't know if it makes sense. So for example, I'm currently in Queensland. My agency do not have any contract right now in Perth. Okay, that's how it is. So if I want to work in Perth, I have to look for another agency that supplies Perth nurses. Okay, I also like to tell you that please, if you are coming to Australia, make your research in the area you're going to be living in and check which agency supplies that particular hospital or that particular location. So what people do is they will call the hospital and say, oh hi, my name is blah blah blah, I am a nurse and I want to work with agencies. Can you please let me know the agencies that supply your hospital with staff? And they will tell you the agencies they work with. Okay, and then you register with them. This is also to avoid you registering with agencies and not getting a job. Not everybody wants to come to Queensland for travel contract. Not everybody wants to go to Tasmania for travel contract. So you have to know which agency supplies each state, okay? And another thing is you have to also know that the rates for each state is different. So if your agency pays you high in Queensland, they might not pay you high in Perth, okay? So it depends on their bargaining power in that state. So it's quite competitive, okay? It's also very different because you might be in the same contract with a particular nurse and then you are getting paid less than that particular nurse, but you are in the same agency, probably even the same years of experience. That every hospital pays different. I found out that private pays different from public hospital agency. You have to bargain for yourself. Yeah, as much as I've seen for theatre nurses, I think they will start you anything from 70 an hour up until 110-ish for remote area nurses per hour, and that's just the base rate. You need to consider weekend, PM shifts, holiday shifts are definitely more than that. So yeah, this list is not in order of priorities. Because one agency does not supply the whole of Australia, it is good for you to register with more than one agency. Like, I think I'm registered with like 6 agencies. I'm not kidding. Make sure you register with a lot of them so that you can, search for shifts in anywhere you want to go, okay? So now let's go back to the list of agencies. The first agency on my list here is E4 Recruitment. E4 Recruitment, they place nurses in mostly rural areas. So if you are looking for a very laid back life in remote areas, E4 Recruitment will place. They do have shifts. Like, there are some agencies that pay really high, but they don't have shifts. Side eye. The second agency on my list is MedServe. They also have shifts around. They pay a good amount of money as well. The third on my list is Sanctuary Recruitment. They basically focus on care homes. So if you are an aged care nurse and you're looking for shifts around Australia, Sanctuary Recruitment, they're your best bet. They do mostly have shifts in New South Wales and Queensland. No, not really Queensland, but mostly New South. If you're looking for contract in aged care, definitely try Sanctuary Recruitment, okay? Another agency that pays really well and has shifts in most parts of Australia is Alliance. Alliance, they're very popular. I feel like a lot of people know them. So yes, Alliance is your next agency you can try registering with. The next agency I have on my list is Nurse at Call. They also place nurses in many parts of Australia. Another agency is Blueprint Nursing. They're quite new, but their rates are really good. Honestly, trust me. Another agency that you can try is HCA. HCA, they place nurses in most rural areas around Australia. Another agency is CMR, Cornerstone Medical Recruitment. They also place nurses around Australia. The next agency is Randstad. They are also very good and they place nurses around Australia. And yeah, there's so many agencies, okay? Like, I can't even place my head around all of them. We have Henderson Healthcare as well. Another thing you can do is when you gain your grounds or when you're ready, you can start your own company. You can become a sole trader and use your ABN, like your Australian business number, to run your own agency and become a go-to person instead of going through to agencies. So that's another video for another day, but that's like the way you can earn the highest money. But then you have to do your taxes, but still I feel like it's one of the best ways to make your own money. You contact the hospitals you want to work with and then they contact you as the agency, but you are the one going to work. And if you grow so big, you can start employing people under your ABN. So yeah, these are the few agencies and ways to start up your travel nursing life here in Australia. I wish you all the best and good luck. Let me know if you have any other questions that you want me to answer around travel nursing, and I'll be happy to help. And I'll see you guys later.